In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful.
عظم الله أجورنا بمصابنا وإياكم بالحسين صلوات الله عليه وجعلنا وإياكم من الطالبين بثاره مع وليه الإمام المهدي من آل محمد.
Peace be upon Imam Mahdi alayhi salam as well. Well, we'd like to talk about an issue quoted by Imam Bagher. How long has passed from the origin of Ashura? More than decades. Well, the supplication of just stated is what is what we can resort to Allah. So we can ask Allah Almighty to appoint us among those who take revenge of Imam Husayn's blood. Well, there is a tradition in which he has stated, whatever happens, no one and nothing can be done to take revenge of Imam Husayn's blood, for his blood is so precious and valuable to Allah Almighty. Well, Allah Almighty sent Gabriel to Adam. Gabriel talked about the greatest names of Allah Almighty, the five greatest names. The four, Prophet Muhammad, Imam Husayn's father, his mother, are superior to him. Just like creation of sun, Allah Almighty set a particular ruling in creation. Just like some other regulations such as praying, giving zakat and khums. There is a general ruling regarding Imam Husayn, which has not been stated neither for Prophet Muhammad, nor for Imam Husayn, nor for other infallibles. Well, this has been stated in more than 10 traditions, in plenty of stories as well. And if you want to compile all those traditions in a book, it's going to be a huge book in volumes. Adam told Gabriel, the four you talked about didn't steer me anyway, but when you mentioned the name of Husayn, it truly moved me. Well, Adam told Gabriel, well, tears are not limitless. Our eyes have particular capacity of water which turn to be tears when we feel upset and depressed. When something heart-rending happens. When we are depressed, when we are truly sad, we might burst into tears, but not much. But when we are deeply sad and we are in melancholy, we cry much. When we cry much, it means that we are truly sad and upset, and tears are just flooding down our eyes. But sometimes it could be more than this. You are truly sad in a way that both your eyes are just overflow by tears. I have not ever seen in any case. Well, after the holy name of Prophet Muhammad, Imam Ali, Fatima Zahra, Adam burst into tears. The moment Adam heard the name of Imam Husayn, he burst into tears. Adam himself was surprised at what was going on him. He asked Gabriel,
و راجع به حضرت سید الشهدا علیه السلام مکرر این هست که یکیش همین قصه حضرت آدمه. خدای عز و جل راجع به این 4 تا حرف حسین
Allah Almighty has appointed a very particular value to Imam Husayn. And the moment you hear about the name of Imam Husayn, you start bursting into tears. Adam told Gabriel, what is happening to me? Why am I crying so much? Gabriel stated something really significant. Gabriel is the one whom Quran stated and considered him as trustworthy the one who does not manipulate the statements of infallibles. Whatever Gabriel says is what has been directly stated to him from Allah. He told Adam that Imam Husayn would suffer so much one day. Those who are expert in Arabic language and Arabic literature would understand much what I'm trying to say. Well, Gabriel stated something to Adam very significantly. He said Imam Husayn would go through so much pain and troubles.
تصغر عندها المصائب. المصائب جمع محلا بال، الظهور در عموم داره.
He emphasized and underlined this issue that Imam Husayn would go through troubles that no one has ever suffered in the history of creation. Considering all difficulties and troubles and pains, nothing could be regarded as equivalent to what is going to happen to Imam Husayn. That is what Gabriel told Adam. Considering the difficulties and troubles Fatima Zahra went through, they were painful indeed. The ones also suffered by Imam Hassan, or the ones that Imam Mahdi is dealing with right now. I hope that Imam Mahdi is not angry with us. This one has been stated to Adam by Gabriel. He said that Imam Husayn is going through a very catastrophic troubles and pains, quite unique in human history. Gabriel truly underlined the uniqueness of the troubles and problems Imam Husayn is going through. Consider the one who has a broken hand and he is in deep pain, and consider the one who has a minor injury on his hand. It's not comparable. Considering all the difficulties in humanity and history, nothing can be compared to what has happened to Imam Husayn and his family as well. Not only financial crises and problems, but also physical and mental troubles he went through. Nothing can relieve Imam Husayn's pains unless Imam Mahdi will reappear. I hope that we would be alive to see such auspicious moment. I hope God assign us as those who have the honor of observing such auspicious moment in person.
اونی که در راه امام حسین کشته میشه، شکنجه میشه، ظلم بهش میشه.
Whatever we do would not suffice to what Imam Husayn went through. For his blood is so precious and valuable to Allah Almighty.
معلوم میشه تو لغت عرب یک کلمه ای نبوده که ادای این بکنه که خدای عز و جل به جبرائیل میفرماد اینجوری بگو به آدم تصبر عندها المصائب، تنها و تنها انتقام خون امام حسین علیه السلام اونجوری که امکان داره به دست
Only Imam Mahdi could take revenge of Imam Husayn's blood and no one else. Well, as my religious responsibility and duty, I would like to appreciate all those who have been trying to follow the rituals of Imam Husayn in these 10 days of Muharram. I appreciate them all, and I pray them all as well. It's everyone's responsibility to appreciate those who revive the rituals of Imam Husayn. It's their responsibility to pray for them. Infallibles used to pray when they were prostrating for those who have tried for reviving the rituals of Imam Husayn. I appreciate every one of you, wherever you are. Those who are in Iran, Iraq, or other countries as well. Those who have not been ignorant and those who have made efforts as much as they were capable. Those who are in Islamic countries or non-Islamic countries who are trying to revive the mourning ceremonies and rituals of Imam Husayn as well. But whatever we do would not suffice to what Imam Husayn did. But I'm sure that you did what you could. I pray for them. I pray for you as well. Particularly the one who are doing their best in Islamic countries, even though they're suffering their financial problems. Considering all the problems they're facing with, they still try to revive the rituals of Imam Husayn. His holy rituals, his mourning ceremonies, from the beginning of Muharram up to today, and of course the rest of the Muharram as well. Muharram and Safar are the mourning month. I pray for every one of them. But there's a point here to be mentioned. I would like to address a lady whose husband is trying to revive the ritual of Imam Husayn. You might think that he would ignore you and he would not think as much as he thinks about Imam Husayn. Do not demotivate him. Encourage him to do more for Imam Husayn, so that you would not be ashamed of Imam Husayn in hereafter. You dear ladies, I would like you gentlemen as well, I would like you to encourage your spouse, your family members, for reviving the rituals of Imam Husayn. Though he might not think as much as he should for you, about you, but do not demotivate him. Let him and encourage him to revive the rituals of Imam Husayn more gloriously, because it's going to be paid off in hereafter.
بگن چرا با خانومت اینجور کردی؟ چرا بهش گفتی اگر برای امام حسین میکنه خورده ریزی نکن از خانومت، فردا بتونی چشمت را تو چشم امام حسین باز کنی.
Well, you dear parents as well, I recommend you this. Try to encourage your kids and children so that they would be prosperous in hereafter. Or you will be punished in Resurrection Day. Dear parents, do not be angry with your young kids. Let them revive the rituals of Imam Husayn as much as they are capable of. Many young people repeatedly ask me questions. They're eager to revive the rituals, but their parents are not interested. Let me just point out a religious issue here. Many might not be aware of this issue, which I'm going to talk about. Experts must talk about this. Scholars must talk about this. This issue is really common in jurists, among jurists, from the time of Sheikh Mufid up to today.
مشهور بین علما این است که تعذی والدین حرام نیست، ایذا حرامه. ایذا هم یکی از دو چیزه. این را
The book written by Sheikh Ansari under the name of Makaseb. Just search upon this book.
اونایی که اهل سواد هستن بگیرن کتاب مکاسب شیخ انصاری را ایشون اشاره کرده تو شرحاش و اینا مفصل بحث شده.
A child and a kid must likes to go on fast, but his parents does not give the permission to.
پدر و مادرش راضی نیست. اذیتم میشه.
A child might like to go to Hajj pilgrimage, but his parent does not give him the permission. In such case, the child is allowed to do what religion has ordered him to do. But let me point out an issue here as well. It's Allah's order. I seriously suggested young people to try to talk their parents into letting them reviving the rituals of Imam Husayn. But we know the case, we know the issue that having their permission is not necessary, not religiously necessary, but try to respect them as well.
اما پدرها مادرها مسئله شرعیشو بدونید مشهور بین اکثر فقهای شیعه گفتن تعذی حرام نیست. یعنی شما کاری کنید که پدر و مادر اذیت میشن، ایذا حرامه، شما نباید اذیت.
Kids must not bother parents intentionally, but reviving the rituals, advertising the religion without the permission is truly allowed. But going pilgrimage in order to bother their parents is truly haram and not religiously allowed.
به این قصد باشه. قسم دومش اینه که عرفاً ایذاء باشه ولو این قصد نباشه. فقط این دو تاست. مسئله شرعیش اینه.
Well, Allah Almighty gave you the blessing and privilege of having kids. And you parents must be careful not to cross the boundaries of what Allah set for you. Reviving the rituals of Imam Husayn is not something to joke with or be ignorant about, because you're going to be regretful and you're going to go through disasters and problems both in here and the hereafter as well. Here, I would like to address my speech to young people. Try to respect your parents as well. Under any reason, if your parents reject you and does not let you the permission, try to talk them into it. They have pure hearts and they can be simply convinced of how important the rituals of Imam Husayn are. Try to kiss their hands, try to respect. Try to save your parents through this. Those who are contributing in Islamic communities, in mourning ceremonies, to whatever extent, tolerate all the difficulties for the sake of Imam Husayn. Even if there is a bad-tempered person among you, try to tolerate him for the sake of Imam Husayn. Try to save him by your good-temperedness. Those who financially support the rituals of Imam Husayn, be careful about the Satan's temptation. Vanity is the greatest Satan's weapon for you, to spoil all the blessings you have gathered upon. Try not to show off whatever you have done for Imam Husayn. Try to punish you, not to show off whatever you have done for Imam Husayn. Prayers, traditions. You might spend 100 millions, but when you talk about this, you would spoil all the blessings you have gathered upon. When you talk about the contributions you made for infallibles, it's as if you have done nothing for them. Those who are collecting charity for Imam Husayn, try not to be in the Satan's allure and trap. And I suggest all governments try to be nice with people who are trying to revive the rituals of Imam Husayn. There are two tribes who are very responsible, stated by Infallible. Governments have the power, have money, scaring someone from the reviving the ritual of Imam Husayn would be severely punishable by Allah Almighty in hereafter. Both in Islamic and non-Islamic countries. Religious communities and mosques are the blessings. I am truly sorry for quoting this. India, as a non-Islamic country, an idol worshipper country, idols are truly common in India. Well, this non-Islamic country, which is filled with liberty and freedom, consisted of many particular religious tribes. Shia would consist less than 10% of India's population. But since India is following a democratic policy, annually let Shia people to have their own ceremonies in particular days of year. But there are some particular celebration and ceremonies in India advertised by the Embassy of India in Iraq as well. I've been informed about them personally. There are some ceremonies that whole India's country is off. One of them is Ashura. More than 90% of India's population do not believe in Ashura because they're not Muslims, but they truly respect to Imam Husayn. I ask the whole world this question. How many Islamic countries do we have? More than 10. How many of them Ashura is off in their countries? It's a flaw. Many of them do not cancel this day and consider this day as an off day. Who is Imam Husayn? Isn't he the grandchild of Prophet and the grandchild of Christ? There are many hundred traditions about Imam Husayn in non-Islamic countries' books. But you see, India, Ashura's day is officially off for both those who believe in Ashura and those who do not. So governments and governors try to be careful, try to respect for your people's emotions, try to be careful about reviving the rituals of Imam Husayn. It's everyone's responsibility.
Imam Husayn salawatullah alayhi to همین فرمایش که معروف ازشونه.
Imam Husayn has stated that why he has raised when Imam Husayn moved for revolution, many would pray, Allama Ghadiri, Allama Amini, stated in Al-Ghadir, the day Imam Husayn raised, I would like to address my speech to experts and scholars, students as well. Allama Amini stated when Imam Husayn stood against Yazid, in all Islamic countries, more than 70,000 Friday praying were held. People used to give their zakat. People used to say their prayer. What does this mean? One day, dictatorship was really common and predominating. Rituals could not be simply advertised. But we are now responsible for, we have many facilities. People used to go their pilgrimages. What Imam Hassan Askari interpreted, Allama Majlisi in Bahar stated as well, that over a year, more than 4 million people went through Hajj that day. Before Imam Hassan Askari, people used to go to Hajj. More than 4 million people. But why Imam Hussein stood against Yazid? Because Bani Umayyad destroyed the lifestyle of Prophet Muhammad and Imam Ali, and he stood against Yazid to revive the lifestyle and the method of Prophet Muhammad and Imam Ali. Not to advertise the issue of praying and giving zakat or going to pilgrimage. But this is not the only part of the lifestyle of Prophet Muhammad. How many homeless people do we have in Islamic countries? There are many of them in both Islamic and non-Islamic countries. But in the government of Prophet Muhammad, you could find no one who would rent a house. Renting was only for passengers. Those who wanted to travel to Basra or Mecca or Medina, but you could find no one who would spend whole his life renting a house. You might say that the government of Prophet was not so vast, but Imam Ali was. Many historians have talked about this. Even the enemies of Imam Ali alayhi salam have talked about this. Well, 50 years ago I wrote a pamphlet about this and it was published in Iraq. Even though that
مع ذلك این کتاب که چاپ شد وزیر اون زمان شخصاً به امضای خودش تو روزنامه رسمی
The governor, the ruler of that time, rejected my book.
خب چرا منع میکنی؟ ببین چی نوشته اگه خوبه عمل کنید. همون روزم تو عراق پر آدمایی بود که تو اجاره زندگی میکنه.
My father,
از دنیا رفتن تو
when he passed away, he was in a rental house.
اون منزلی که من توش دنیا آمدم پدر ما توش دنیا آمده بودن تا پدر ما از دنیا رفتن تو اجاره.
Many have rental houses.
حالا بحثی سر جاش امام حسین صلوات الله علیه
Imam Husayn raised and stood against Yazid to revive the lifestyle of Prophet Muhammad, not to revive the praying or zakat. Of course, they're part of it. In the history of Imam Ali's government, you could find no single girl or an unmarried boy because of financial problems.
این همه تاریخ بخونید ببینید.
People like Muawiyah, Yazid, and Mutawakkil are the one who stole millions of dirhams. Just search upon their own history.
ببینید تاریخ‌های خودشون خدا عامه نوشته هزارها تو ایامی که اسمشو میگذاشتن خلافت اسلامی ایام بنی امیه و بنی العباس و بنی مروان و امثال اینا نمیدونم چند تا هزارها بگم
I don't know how can I emphasize this issue.
من نمیرسم نرسیدم کارم چیز دیگه است.
Well, you dear young people, both girls and boys, try to follow these issues and write about them. Many Muslims died out of starvation in the time of Bani Umayyad. They used to eat animal flesh out of starvation. They used to eat many exotic food out of starvation. Just search upon the history. Why Muslims went through many difficulties in the time of Yazid. We are the followers of Prophet Muhammad, Imam Ali, and Imam Husayn. We have the honor to be called Shias. Can't we let the whole world know about this? We have to. We are religiously obliged to. Allah appointed us a great Husayn and many blessings around him. Well, in a desert, there was a deep well somewhere far from water. They used to dig in more than 30 meters. The more they dig in, they used to create holes in the well as well. The hole was called al-mutbaq. Aaron, Mansur, Mamun had these torching devices and places. They used to captivate people and put them in those holes. And many would die due to starvation and thirst. This issue has been stated in many historical books. Many died under the tortures. They put heavy objects on people to torture them. More than 70 kilograms of objects for days. And see who would be put in those holes. Those who tried to revive the rituals of Imam Husayn. Mutawakkil sent his representative and he announced in public that those who try to revive the rituals of Imam Husayn will be put in my holes, the wells I have dug up, and they will be tortured to death. They used to kill and stab pregnant ladies. Those who tried to revive the rituals of Imam Husayn. It was the time of Imam Hadi. People used to go to pilgrimage of Imam Husayn. Many would not return. But Imam Hadi did not talk anyone out of going the pilgrimage of Imam Husayn. He encouraged instead, even though it was filled with hazards and dangers. They used to torture people who tried to go for the pilgrimage of Imam Husayn. No infallible abstain people. They encouraged them instead.
236 هجری قمری.
Imam Hadi said, those who go for the pilgrimage of Imam Husayn's shrine
أبي عبد الله الحسين صلوات الله عليه وقتی که زیارتش تمام شد از حضرت هادی روایت شده در کامل الزیارات داره جایی کم
when he's done
یکی از ملائکه یک دونه از ملائکه بالخصوص
doing his pilgrimage, an angel would come and salute him.
سلام رسول الله صلی الله علیه و آله.
When did he say this?
اینو که
When there were torturing devices.
وقتی که مطبق بوده تشویق میکردن. این استثنای در تشریع نیست. این چیزایی که نقل شده از مال تقریبا 100
The issues that have been stated from 100 years ago.
اینا چیزی نیست مقابل اونها که بازم شیعیان
Shias have gone through many difficulties reviving the rituals of Imam Hussein. I would not like to talk about the political issues.
معاویه و بنی عباس و اینام دورم اصلا. این کتاب دارم
I have written books about politics.
که در زیارت جامعه داره وساست العباد اون سیاست قبل 130-140 سال که اون روز مهمترین کشور رو
British used to be the most powerful country.
اون روز یه حمله به ایران کرد.
It attacked Iran for the tobacco.
خونید جوونا.
You can read the history for that. More than 400,000
مرد و زن
people
خبرا
entered to Iran from England.
وارد ایران شدن. شیراز، تهران، خراسان، تبریز، اصفهان مراکز درست کردن. چند
They set some organizations in Iran.
367 هجری قمری
The greatest Mirza Shirazi issued a verdict
شیرازی رضوان الله علیه
and he evacuated the whole country from British people.
در همون وقتم صد
But many people died out of tobacco
کتاب‌هایی نوشتن تو کتاب
rejection.
عربی هست فارسی هست. یه ضربه‌ای بود که
Mirza Shirazi truly destroyed what British planned. The British people who were in India for 300 years. And India was a colony of Britain.
اون روز چین تحت حکومت انگلستان. میرزای شیرازی
And through Mirza Shirazi's verdict,
فرمود نمیگم تنباکو حرامه. نمیگم.
and he stated, today tobacco is religiously haram and taboo.
اليوم تو فتوای مرحوم میرزا خیلی مطلب داره. تنباکو حلاله. محرمات نیست. حرام اونیه که خدا حرام کرده باشه. اما اليوم به خاطر این جریان فعلی فعلا حرامه. این ضربه‌ای بود که استعمار
And the old
اون روز تعبیر می‌کردن
colonizing country of Britain
التي لا بريطانيا العظمى التي لا تغيب الشمس عن مستعمراتها
suffered many losses through Mirza Shirazi's verdict.
چند سال انگلیس دید نمیتونه این دو تا کشور شیعه یکی ایران و عراق نمیتونه با خبرا و با 400,000 نفر علنی شروع جنگ کرد در عراق. ارتش آورد.
Grenade was just made. This story is about 1335, more than 100 years ago. There is a place in Iraq between Karbala and Najaf.
الان بین کربلا و نجف، نه این مسیر متعارفی خورده از اون طرفی که برید از پشت کوفه که برید، اسمش الانم اسمش اینه رارنجیه. عراقی ها به نارنج میگن رارنج. چرا اسمش شده رارنجیه؟ چون نارنجک انگلیسی
There is a particular place named after grenade.
تا حالا اسمش رارنجیه. این عراقی ها که من اسمش رارنجیه.
For British people and soldiers used to put grenades on Iraqi people.
خونی درست کرد تو عراق. مرحوم آمیرزا محمد تقی شیرازی رضوان الله علیه با فتوای
And Mirza Shirazi issued a verdict to stand against colonization.
با جنگ خونی که هزارها از انگلیس کشته شدن، هزارها از عراق کشته شدن، اما به نتیجه انگلیس در حال
But
در سال
1308 Hijra,
قمری دقیق 100 سال قبل از امروز
British was put out in Iraq from Iraq.
انگلیس ایران را نگه داشت. 2 سیلی زد به ایران و عراق. یکی پهلوی بود تو
Pahlavi and Yasser al-Hashim in Iraq did many terrible things to the population of Iran and Iraq.
کار کرد این 5 سال آخر عمرش.
See what they have done to the followers of Imam Husayn.
هاشمی تو عراق چیکار؟ این همزمان هست.
Yassin al-Hashimi was the prime minister of Iraq that time.
ایام اینا تو کتابا نوشته. گذشته از این که من از پیرمردا و اینا مکرر اینا رو شنیدم. شما از پیرمردا تو عراق تو ایران بپرسید کم و بیش یه خورده ریزای از اینا نقل میکنن.
Just take a look upon the history.
کتاب هست این. کتابی که چاپ شده خود عراق هم.
There are many books published in this regard.
یاسین الهاشمی نخود.
He was the prime minister
اون وقت عراق پادشاه.
the time Iraq had his own king.
یاسین الهاشمی
Yassin al-Hashimi started standing against Islam, Imam Husayn and Ahl al-Bayt.
کردن. مرجعیت شیعه در عراق ایام مرحوم آصف الحسن بود رضوان الله.
Asad Abul Hassan was the jurist. He had the power,
هم
and the
عشایر عراق
nomads of Iraq were loyal to Asad Abul Hassan. Many of them were killed, tortured,
بلا سرشون اومد. خیلی هم شکنجه شد.
but it took only half a year and a half, and Yasser Hashimi
مجبور شد فرار
fled
کنه.
from Iraq.
از عراق رفت بیرون عراق هم کشته شد. اینجور نوشته. حالا کی هم کشتش چی بود نمیدونم. شما جوانا دنبال کنید چی بوده.
But in Iran, the Pahlavi families stood seriously against Imam Husayn.
شاید اون ایام مرجعیت مرحوم آش عبدالکریم حائری بوده. مرحوم آش عبدالکریم اونقدر دستشون باز نبوده. پسر مرحوم آش عبدالکریم برای خود من نقل کردن. این خیلی ها یقینا شنیدن. گفتن پدرم گفتن من قرض میخوام قرضم نمیدن. اینجوری میشه کار کرد.
Sheikh Abdul Karim
وقتی که آش
was short-handed,
باز نباشه،
and Pahlavi did many things to
شعائر مقدس امام حسین را
spoil the
یک
rituals of Imam Husayn. But where are they now?
کو یاسین الهاشمی نوشتن مرحوم آصف الحسن همون زمان یاسین الهاشمی
Asad Abul Hassan formed a striking group.
خود مرحوم آصف الحسن شرکت کردن درش برای اولین و آخرین بار در طول تاریخ مرحوم آصف الحسن و عشایر عراق رو طلبیدن. عراق کشور عشایریه، تا الان هم عشایریه.
Even today, nomads have their own power in Iraq.
پشتیبانی کردن از مرحوم آمیرزا محمد تقی شیرازی در ثوره 20.
They supported jurists in
و تا الان
the time of
عشایر خوب هنوز تو
need.
مکرر اینجا پیش من اومدن سالهای بعد صدام.
There are many loyal nomads to Islam and jurists here in Iraq as well.
اینا
I vividly remember Kashf al-Ghata. They sent many seminar students to, and they got nomads ready, and the prime minister fled the country. The rituals of Imam Husayn are seriously precious for Allah Almighty. Many were dead, many were killed, many were tortured. In the time of Bani Umayyad, Bani Abbas, the story of Jabir, he had a companion of Amir al-Mu'mineen. He fled because if he stayed, he would have been tortured. Atiyah was an old person, more than 80. They took him near Shiraz. He was just wandering around, but he did whatever he could for the Imam Husayn. You see, we have not done anything. I appreciate everyone, but it would not suffice. It would not suffice. Many have done greatest things for Imam Husayn. They took him near Shiraz. And they wept him for 100 times. They also cut off his beard, for only he just followed the ritual of Imam Husayn. But where are they now? Where is Aaron? Where is Hajjaj? Well, let me point out an issue here. I've seen a picture there was a fruit seller who freely sold his fruits for the sake of Imam Husayn. There are many people in Iraq, in Iran, in Islamic and non-Islamic countries would sell his house and rent a house for the sake of Imam Husayn. He would sell his shop for the sake of Imam Husayn. Try to follow them. Try to help them out financially. Help the one who sold their houses for the sake of Imam Husayn. Help those who have borrowed money for the sake of Imam Husayn. I declare here
همینجا اعلام میکنم برای تمام مؤمنین و مؤمناتی که در دنیا هستند از قسمتی از سهم مقدس امام عصر عجل الله فرجه الشریف من اجازه میدم اگر از تبرعی چیز دیگری پیدا نشد شما از سهم امام بدید از سهم امام خودتون.
try to revive the rituals of Imam Husayn and try to help those who sold whatever they had for the sake of Imam Husayn.
یه خونه بهتر از اون بخرید برای خودتون این فایده داره نه فقط برای اینا مسئولیات.
These are our responsibilities and we should not be ignorant about them.
آدم نباید کوتاهی کنه. امیدوارم
May God bless us to fulfill this for the upcoming Arba'een. People must, the number of people who would go for pilgrimage in Arba'een must be more than this. Financially help those who are in need of money for reviving the rituals. Try to gloriously hold the ceremony of Arba'een as much as you are capable of. Arba'een is unique in history. You might say that Karbala would not have enough capacity, but there are plenty of other places. Well, may God bless everyone. Try not to be ignorant so that we might be regretful in the hereafter. May God bless Muhammad and his pure descendants.